Yo. Let me get my AirPods connected real quick and then we can go ahead and get started. Turn this music off in the background. Welcome in, man. Another edition of ChrisBeCappinn NBA show. If you're live on Twitter, retweet the show for me, man. Show your boy some love. We've been cashing, starting to find our groove just a little bit. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button for me over there as well. And let's get into it. Man. We got a nice little slate. Let me get my AirPods connected real quick. Okay, we should be good now. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's get to some money, man. What y'all on today? Let's see. Um, let's see. All right, so we only got 4 games today. And if I'm keeping it honest with you guys, like I always am, I haven't even broke down all these games yet. It's been a busy morning for me so far, busy day in general. So let's break these games down. Let me tell you guys what I do have so far. Today's the 26th. Yeah. All right. So notes. So we got we got the Mavericks going to Toronto to visit the Raptors today, catching 2.5. We also got the Thunder and the Rockets. That's the game I was actually just diving deep into, and I found some interesting stuff that I'm excited to share with you guys in that game specifically. Then we also got the my Lakers taking on the Spurs again tonight, and then in San Antonio again, and then we got the Jazz and the Suns. So definitely some good games. I think we got about 3 hours before, no, about 4 or 5 hours before they actually tip. I think too, because they don't start until 5. But let's get into it. Like I always say, let's go. Real quick recap. I posted this earlier, but finally starting to find our groove just a tad bit, man. 14-5 on the week, 74% run. This week, plus up almost 9 units, 0.989. I'm probably sorry, 0.8.92 units this week. Yesterday we had a 5-2 day. D'Angelo Russell over 6.5 assists. Shake Milton over 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He almost had a triple double. Shout out to Shake, man. Caught that one right. Bulls team total. We needed some help. Needed that game to go to overtime, but that cashed as well. And then the Nuggets minus the 3.5 off the late night. Ingram got injured. Had 3 assists in the first quarter. That was looking really promising in that one. Got injured. Something with his big toe. I wasn't watching, but he got injured, so that didn't cash. And the Timberwolves, I talked about them. I tweeted about them. Just came out hot, and then they get flat. Karl Anthony Towns standing around looking like he a point guard, shooting threes in the corner, even after missing. I think he shot like 1 for 9 from 3. So that's why that game didn't go the way, in my estimation. They just couldn't get stops. Charlotte wanted it more, so we did end up taking those 2 losses, which never feels good. I absolutely try to win every single play that I give out. So. Let's keep pushing for the day, man. Let's see if we can find some spots and get some cash, man. So first game up, let's go. I don't even got a banner for this one. Let's see. Mavs and the Raptors. This is a difficult game to cap when we do not have all of the injury news, which is extremely important. Biggest injury news in this one is Scotty Barnes being ruled out. Otto Porter Jr. is also ruled out, but Fred VanVleet's listed as questionable. He's a tremendous part of that offense, man. So it makes this game extremely, difficult to cap when you're trying to bet a side or a total or, a spread or whatever the case might be. So I want to say you don't want to keep fading Dallas, but Dallas has been so bad, specifically on the road this year, and specifically ATS wise, that you don't want to back them. They're 1-9, I think, in their last 10 games, ATS wise. So they haven't been covering these spreads. They went to Boston the other day. Boston smacked them up. They lost that game by 13. I think, yeah, they lost 125 to 112. So not a spot you really want to, you don't really want to back, this Dallas team. Although I will say they found something towards the end of that game. And then, this same thing that kind of goes with this Toronto team. Toronto they're injured. They're not whole right now. A lot of guys, the injury report in this one is really, really lengthy. They still have I talked about, Fred VanVleet being listed as questionable. But Scotty Barnes already being ruled out. Otto Porter Jr. is already out. Um, Banton is questionable for this game. Pascal Siakam is still out, and then Preston Chua is still out as well. So makes it really tough, to cap this game from a size perspective. I was looking at, and I haven't placed this bet yet, but I was looking at Luka rebounds in this one. And I kind of want to play the under 2. I think if you get Fred VanVleet ruled in, of course, you'll get a number that'll jump because he impacts his offense so much. But looking at Luka rebounds, he's averaging his rebounds are 8.5. It's slightly, well, it's more than slightly. It's juiced to the under, minus 132. To the over, I'm sorry, minus 132. Luka rebounds for him to have 9 rebounds over that 8.5 line. He's averaging 10 rebounds over the last 7 games, though. Last 7 games, I think it was last 5 games. Quite simply put, I see a lot of misses in this game. Luka is also averaging 15 rebound opportunities, which leads his team in rebound opportunities a game. I did read some reports late last night that Christian Wood might be they might be inserting Christian Wood into the starting lineup eventually. I don't know if it's gonna come today or not, but Christian Wood could potentially start. And they kind of shift that lineup just a tad bit. He's been playing really, really well. I think he had 25 points in that game against Boston the other day. So maybe that's gonna come and take place here soon. Let me real quick. Let me pull that up real quick. So last game, Christian Wood had 26 points and 12 rebounds off the bench. He shot 10 for 14. He was the only guy on the team that shot the ball well outside of Luka, going 17 for 28. Luka could go off again today. I think so, but he will probably end up drawing OG Anunoby, who's a elite defender. I've been talking about that. But Luka's Luka, man. Offense always beats defense. I think he could slow him down just a tad bit, but extremely low total game. I just don't have a real good feed on this game. I'm not backing Toronto because they're so injured. Also, don't want to back Dallas. So, like I said, just kind of pivot towards Luka rebounds in this one. Would probably be my strongest look. Moving along, and nothing on Toronto side at all, especially until we get the news on Fred VanVleet. Moving along, going to this Oklahoma City Thunder and Houston Rockets game. So the Thunder come into this one off the overtime win last night in Chicago. I actually thought this was a game that was going to be played in OKC again. I looked at it wrong. The Thunder are actually traveling on the road to Houston, taking on this Houston team that got a really impressive win last night. I talked about it, and I should have just bet it, man. Away home dogs catching more than 7 points are now are now 13, 1-3 ATS if they're catching more than 7 points, man. I didn't play it last night. I talked about wanting to give it out as my favorite spot. I didn't like it as much when we got Eric Gordon ruled out, which is why I kind of stayed off of it. But yeah, outright win last night. DeJounte and Trey combined for 80 points, and they still lost the game 128-122, I think it was. This line in this one, let me just make sure I got this right. This line in this one opened at 2.5 in favor of OKC, and now it's down to 2. So some money's coming in on Houston. Total in this one opened at 233. It's down to 231.5. And it's weird, this is a weird game, man, because OKC, they are 9-1 to the over in their last 10 games. And we know that they continue to score. Playing on second night of a back-to-back, you typically want to take the team. You want to take the over because, Tyler Leggs theories comes in, and most of the time more games than not goes over in that estimation. But I found something. So let me talk about the injury report first. So Sengun is listed as questionable. He impacts this game a lot. Mike is muted. Oh, y'all can't hear me? Hold on. Let me see. Oh, man, I'm just in here talking. Appreciate you, Vaughn. I had no idea my mic was muted when my headphones switched over, bro. My fault, man. My fault. Y'all can hear me now. So real quick, let me go back through this Dallas and Toronto game. Thank you, Vaughn. I saw your mention, bro. You saved the day. So not a lot for me in this Dallas and Mavs game. Dallas and Toronto game. And I'll just read real quick. I'll talk about. I wasn't even looking at the comments. I appreciate you guys for letting me know, man. So real quick, Dallas and Toronto. So we don't have all the injury news on the Toronto side. Of course, Scotty Barnes has already been ruled out. Fred VanVleet is listed as questionable. He didn't play in the last game with that illness. So it's going to be interesting to see if he plays. He impacts the offensive side of the ball tremendously. So you don't necessarily want to jump out here without knowing, if he's going to be available for this game or not. I think that's extremely important. And I'm not betting aside or total until I get Fred VanVleet in or I get him out, right? We got about 4.5 hours, I think, before this game tips off. So that's my thoughts on that one. I'm not really looking to back Dallas. Dallas has been terrible. They're 1-9 ATS in their last 10, 1-5 ATS in their last 6 meetings between these two teams specifically. Even though they have won the last 2 games, they typically don't cover the spread. But I can't back Toronto right now. A lot of injuries, a lot of injuries. That's all I was saying on this game. Toronto 5-3 at the crib this year, ATS wise, but only 4-6 in their last 10 games overall. Dealing with a lot of injuries. Second home game of a 3-game homestand. They play Cleveland on Monday, and they're coming off the 14-point loss on Wednesday to Brooklyn. So that's what I had in that game. One of the looks that I just kind of talked about for the people on Twitter was I was looking towards the Luka rebounds over 8.5. Didn't play it yet. It's juiced to the over -132. Luka is averaging 10 rebounds over the last 7 games. Quite frankly, I just see a lot of misses in this one. I see a lot of misses, which creates a lot of rebound opportunities. Luka's also averaging 15 rebound attempts. Not nothing that I played yet, but if I had to play a player prop in this one, it'd probably be Luka rebounds. I don't like that it's juiced at -132. I do think you could just take it straight at 10. Luka's been getting 10 rebounds, extremely low total, lets you know that, the books are anticipating a lot of misses. So that's what I got for you guys on that one. And my apologies again, for having my mic muted when my headphones switched over. Also to the total, under is 11-4-1 in the last 16 meetings between Toronto and Dallas, and it's 5-2. The under is 5-2 in the last. The under is 5-2 to the under in the last 7 meetings between these two teams as well. Moving along to this Thunder and Rockets game, and I was kind of talking about this one already. So the Thunder, they're coming in off the overtime win last night against Chicago at home. They had to hop on a quick flight and travel down to Houston for this game tonight. Houston coming off a really impressive win. I talked about the trend yesterday. Home dogs catching more than 7 points are now, I think, 13-1-3 ATS. So that's I'm gonna just have to start blindly betting that. I can't keep letting it go. I gave it out. I give it out every single time that these home teams are catching these big massive numbers at the crib, and they just keep covering. So that's something I'm gonna just have to put on auto play and just play it for a unit, half a unit, quarter unit, something like that, because I can't keep letting that happen. I didn't even play it yesterday, but somebody tweeted me and said, Chris, I don't know if you played it or not, but it cashed yesterday. And I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. Because I wasn't even paying attention to this game last night with so many games coming on at the same time. But we saw DeJounte and Trey combine for 60 points last night. Wasn't enough. I'm sorry, 80 points last night. Wasn't enough. They still were able to, Houston was able to, have enough offense, even without, Eric Gordon in that one. And that was the main thing that kind of kept me off. He's the third leading scorer on his team. And I thought that, not having him, might create some kind of, I don't know, offensive imbalance, because Houston, while they can score, they typically don't score a lot. They're one of the lower scoring teams in the NBA. So I kind of stayed off of that one. But tonight, I think I actually like Houston. I haven't played this one yet, but I got a really strong trend that I want to share with you guys. And the trend is this. So since the start of the 2018 season, so we're going back 3 years and, whatever you want to count, 3 years and a month so far, teams coming off a home game that went to overtime, that was played and that are playing on the second leg of a back-to-back on the road, right? So you win the game at home, and then you have to go on the road, in that next game with no rest. Those teams are 3-7 straight up, 4-6 against the spread. But if you look closer, they're actually 0-5 straight up and against the spread if you just date back to last season. And all 5 of those games have gone under. So what I'm telling you to play is if you want to, if that trend maybe helps your analysis or kind of helps the way you were thinking already, that's a play on the Houston Rockets, and it's a play on the under. I know these teams go over. I talked about the Thunder 9-1 to the over in their last 10 games, but this I think, and I think it's honestly, I think it's the reason why you see money come in on the under. These two teams don't play a lick of defense, but some reason the total went from 233 down to 231, 231 and a half. I like the under, and I like the Rockets. I don't know which one I'm gonna put in my pocket. Probably a total over an actual play. But these teams that are at home and their game goes to overtime and they got to come back on the road in the following game, they typically lose that game. And I want to say, let me see if I can pull a trend back up real quick. I want to say they're losing those teams are losing by 5 points, 109 to 104. So it hasn't happened yet this season, but looking back last season, it actually happened 5 times, and all 5 of those games went under. All 5 home teams won, and they won by average of 5 points. So take with that information and do what you want, but it's a play on Houston. It's a play on the under. Prop wise in this one, I do think that even though they are on the third game in 4 nights, and hold on, let me just confirm that real quick. So the Thunder are, yeah, they had the 24th off, which was, so hold on. Yeah, they had the 24th off, which was Thanksgiving, but they played the night before. They played last night. So this is their third game in 4 nights as well. But I still will have to look towards a couple of these player props that I think could actually hit in this one. The first one being Shea, right? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't have to talk about how good this guy is right now, how good he's been. Dude's been balling. He didn't hit his player prop yesterday, but what I'm pivoting to today, because it is a third game in 4 nights, because they did go to overtime and they had to get on a plane. They probably didn't even get to Houston till early this morning, probably about 3, 4 a.m. That's typically what happens after an overtime game, and you want to fly there the night before so you don't have to fly in the next day. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I played this one already. His assists plus rebounds, 11 and a half, minus 115 is what I took it at. He's cleared this number 7 games in a row. 15, 18, 12, 12, 13, 12, 13. He's averaging 7.5 assists over his last 5 games on 13 and over 13 and a half, almost 14 assist opportunities. Houston allows the third most assists in the last 7 games versus point guards. And you see a high score and projected total of 231 points. So it should be plenty of rebounds. It should be plenty of assist opportunities. I played this 1 unit play for me, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, over 11 and a half assists plus rebounds. Love that line for him. Also, while I was capping, I was looking at Giddey. Giddey's another guy. I think his assist could be in play too. 6.5 for him, minus 130. And it could be assist and rebounds as well. But Giddey, he's averaging 7 assists over his last 5 games on 12 assist opportunities. And I talked about Houston allowing the third most assists over the last 7 games, the point guards, and the high projected scoring total as well. So I did lock in Shea over 11 and a half assists plus rebounds. Actually, I'm be honest with you guys, it's the only thing I played so far today. I love that. I absolutely love that line. I'm probably gonna get there to with Houston. It's weird. I like that they're dogs though. OKC has been balling. But I do think, this could be a spot. Third game in 4 nights, coming off an overtime win. I can only look towards Houston in this one, as weird as that sounds, especially after I was looking towards them to cover yesterday too. So given 2 points, I would probably take the 2 points with Houston in this one, even though OKC has looked impressive. And I also feel like Eric Gordon could come back from this one. He was out for injury management yesterday with a groin injury. I know Sengun is also listed as questionable. If those guys do play, I do think that they probably move the line a half a point if both of them come back. Probably a half a point total. So total of a half a point. So you probably get Houston plus 1.5 if Sengun, who's listed as questionable, and Eric Gordon, who's listed as questionable, are in for this one. Let me see what y'all saying in the comment section real quick. Y'all agree with me? What y'all on today? 69XXX site. We're gonna get you up out of here. Euphoria said, um, I thought I saw a comment from Euphoria. Maybe it's gone. Sid said Thunder been in a lot of overtimes this week. Yeah, that's something else to mention. Houston first quarter, first half is a look. I like Jabari points and rebounds. He's been playing better and attempting more than 5 threes in his last 2 games. I like that look too, Coop. He has been balling. I checked his box score yesterday. Didn't watch much of that game. Euphoria said only losing by 5 points seems uh losing by 5 points seems they're pretty competitive games. Definitely adding the under to my card. Yeah, I like the under, man. I think I'm gonna take the under. I wish I could have got it at 233, but I didn't play it. He hit his prop last night with the late free throws. Shea Gildas Alexander been having 6 and 6. Yeah, rebounds in the last move. So yeah, that's what I kind of got for you guys as far as those first 2 games. Moving along, this Lakers and Spurs games feels weird to me. The Spurs have been bad. They have just been really, really bad. The Lakers are a team that I'm watching frequently, of course, because it's my team. Super public side. If you play the Lakers today, of course, 89% of the money is on them. You see some money come in on this under as well. Total in this one opened at 233, but even though it is up, it's up to 230. I'm sorry, opened at 231. It's up to 233. So the books are projecting more points. And typically that's what you see, in these type of games where the first game where you get these teams in back-to-backs, right? So the site doesn't change. It's literally the same exact teams playing against each other on the same exact floor as it was the day before, either a day in between or not a day in between. But San Antonio's bad, man. You're literally asking the Lakers to win by a possession. And if they can't do that, I don't, even with everything that I just said, yesterday was the first time that they actually won a road game and that they actually covered a road spread. So they only 1-6, against the spread at home. You see the Lakers come out and punch San Antonio in the mouth early. But then in the third quarter, if you guys were watching that game, the Lakers actually gave up a lot of points, played really sloppy basketball in the third quarter. San Antonio, fought hard in that third quarter. I want to say they got the lead down to 2, maybe even tied it. Fought extremely hard in that game. And of course, the Lakers, put AD and Braun back in, and they go back on that run. I think AD finished with 25 points and 15 rebounds in that game. And real quick, the Lakers ended up winning 105-94. So of course, this one went under, by a significant amount. The game didn't even get to 200 points, finished at 199. So today, of course, the books are anticipating a lot more points from the San Antonio side, probably, right? Jakob Poeltl had 10 points yesterday. SOCOM had 13, and Keldon Johnson had 15. So probably more points for Keldon Johnson. He shot 6 for 23. It's only right he has a bounce back game. Only shot 1 for 8 from 3 as well. Devin Vassell shot 0 for 6 from 3, right? So these guys have a lot of room for improvement, only losing that game yesterday by 11 points. When you combine Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, the Lakers defense has been playing a lot better, but these guys shot a combined 1 for 14 from the 3-point line, only combined for 33 points. So a lot of room for improvement on that side of the ball. Lakers might let their guard down in this one. I'm probably not playing this game, man. I would only be able to look towards the Lakers. I think the Spurs are regressing back to the team that we thought that they were going to be early in the season when they were taking everybody money because they was covering these spreads, and winning these games outright. But they've been a shell of themselves recently. Now back down to 9-11 ATS. I remember when this team was 7-3 against the spread at the beginning of the season. They're also not functioning well at home or on the road. They're 3-7 at the crib and 3-7 on the road. And let's see, the Spurs have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 games in a row, and 9 of their last 10. They also haven't covered a spread in 5 games in a row. So yeah, I couldn't. And those games continue to go under because they just haven't been able to score. They scored, 110 points against New Orleans, but only 94 last night against the Lakers. They scored 92 in LA against the Lakers last week, 97 against the Clippers, only 112 against the Kings, 110 against Portland, 95 against Golden State. So they just haven't been able to score a lot of points, man. Anthony said AD points, rebounds, and assists at 39.5 again after hitting it again last night. Yeah, AD's been on fire, man. A kid named Coop said Spurs realized they got a tank for Wembanyama. It took long enough, bro. It definitely took long enough. I know they took some of my money. Nesbet said, yeah, I want to take the Lakers so bad. I know you was on them yesterday, Nesbet. I saw that. So bad. I won easily last two Lakers Spurs meetings, but my gut's telling me to leave this one alone as bad as I want to. Spurs a heavy fade going forward regardless. That is a fact. But I think that's perfect. If you've won twice with the Lakers, maybe you take your money and you say, you know what? I'm chilling this one. I'm not gonna play this one. I'm gonna just kind of relax on this one. But the Lakers the only way you could look, man. A small point spread too. It's not like you asking the Lakers to win by double digits. You asking them to win the game by 2 possessions, by 4 points. They should absolutely be able to get that done. And I see some continued upward trajectory for the Lakers. Against some of these bad teams. The season started off bad for the Lakers. They were playing against these really difficult teams, and they were catching L's. They lost to Utah. They lost to Cleveland. They lost to Utah again. They lost to the Clippers. They lost to Sacramento. And then you start to see them kind of build up some steam, especially getting wins against some okay opponents. They beat Brooklyn. Then they beat Detroit. They beat the Spurs. And then they go to Phoenix. They lose. They beat the Spurs. And hopefully they should, hopefully beat the Spurs again. So, like I said, no official play for me. I couldn't talk anybody off AD. Nesbet said the Spurs are a punching bag going forward. Lakers or pass. Gut saying play here. Yeah, my gut saying the same thing. The Spurs have also been historically bad in the first quarter, first half as well. I think that's also important to mention. If they come out with something, it's typically in the second half. So, like I said, nothing official for me, but go check the trends if you want to take the Lakers first quarter, first half. Some big trends that kind of back that. Let's get to this last game. So, last game on the board is the Jazz and the Suns. Quick turnaround with some revenge for the Suns in this spot. They did go to Utah last week and lose that game. The Suns had to play a really hard-fought game last night. I was actually going to take the team that I felt like was going to be the most rested in this situation because both of them played, extremely late night. So you give the advantage to the Suns because it's already baked into the line, which is why they're 7-point favorites in this one. You give the advantage to the Suns because while both of these teams did play late last night, the Suns actually were at the crib. And both of these teams played probably about the same amount of minutes for their starters. The Suns are still extremely shorthanded, of course, but they just continue to find ways to get it done and get it done specifically at home. This team has been a juggernaut at the crib. They're 12-6 overall, 10-1 at the crib, 8-3 against the spread at the crib as well. So not a trend you really want to get in front of. The Jazz they've kind of cooled off just a tad bit. We know that they are injured just a tad bit. They'll be without Mike Conley in this game. Mike Conley's out. Rudy Gay's still out with a hand injury. Chris Paul's still out. Cam Johnson's still out. But they, the other guys have kind of stepped in, and they don't. Torrey Craig's of the world, and specifically Cam Johnson. Cam Payne. He's looked really good. He had 11 assist game last night against Detroit in that hard-fought win. Now laying 7 points at the crib, it does feel like the only way I could look in this one is probably, looking towards Phoenix. We've seen Utah function well in these back-to-backs, but I think Utah is kind of regressing. They were the best team in the Western Conference, and we knew that they weren't. Now they lost yesterday. They got smacked up to Golden State, even though they did come back and keep that one close. They didn't end up covering the spread, though. They lost by 11, and it was an 8-point spread. That game went over. Against Detroit, same thing, right? They lose that game outright to Detroit and give up 125 points in that game. Lose that one and don't cover the spread in that one. That game also goes over. Against the Clippers last week, they lose that game 121-114 without PG. Another game that goes over, and then they lose they beat Portland. When I was on Portland, I don't think I gave it out official, but I was on Portland that game. But they haven't looked like their normal selves, and now you get them on the second night of a back-to-back with travel. Only way I'd be able to look at this game is Phoenix, especially from the revenge angle as well. I'd also look towards the over. I just mentioned they gave up 129 points to Golden State at the crib. We know how good Golden State is at home, but they gave up 125 points at home against Detroit. 121 points to a Clippers team that we know isn't thriving on offense at all. So my play would be probably towards the over. Maybe you just take the Suns team total over. And also the Suns typically play a lot. They typically set the tone at home. So I would be looking at, maybe Suns first quarter, first half in this one as well. Um, and like I said, I haven't taken a deep dive, just kind of giving you guys, what I have off top of my head. I haven't really, dove deep as far as player props in this game. But like I said, the play for me would probably be the Suns minus the 7, and I probably look towards the over in this one. I probably look towards the over in this one as well. 232.5 points. I think Phoenix could score. I don't see the Jazz slowing them down on the second night of a back-to-back and them locking in on the defensive end at all. So that would probably be my look. Even if you didn't want to lay the 7, you could, jump on the team total. Maybe you do a first half team total for Phoenix. But I expect tired legs, both of these teams having to play late last night. And the Jazz, having to travel too. So that would be my look in that game. Let's see what y'all on in this one. And then I'm gonna open it up to anybody who got comments real quick before we get up out of here on Twitter as well. Let's see what y'all got. Anthony said he liked the Jazz plus the 7. Okay. DJ said, I really like your look on SGA today. I'm on SGA 6 rebounds and OKC to win at plus 240 on FanDuel. Okay. Net said, I may end up on the Suns here. Yeah, that's the only way I feel like I could look too. Lakers 4-13 third quarter ATS this season. Yeah, they typically find something early. I think that's pronounced Foost. And then they let up in the third quarter. And it's typically because that second unit comes in and they end up giving it up when AD goes out and LeBron goes out together. They've been trying to anchor that. Well, at least yesterday they tried to anchor that second unit with just Westbrook in the game. And Westbrook, while he can make great decisions and, he's a great playmaker at times, he does some boneheaded stuff at times as well. So it kind of balances itself out and the team ends up coming back for sure. Nesbeth said, might be one thing I pulled the trigger on. Detroit been feisty shorthanded and the Suns may have been looking ahead. Yeah, I think so too. I think the Suns were definitely looking ahead to try to get some revenge in this spot tonight. Jazz been regressing. They've been regressing a lot. Owner had a meeting, said, "Chill out, y'all." Yeah, they're supposed to be tanking, man. I don't think that they're bad enough to tank. But I do think, without having Mike Conley, who's kind of like the head of that snake, we know he's been cashing on his assist prop, like killing his assist prop. So I do think, without having Mike Conley there, it takes away a ball handler, even though they still have Colin Sexton, who's really, really good. They still have THT, who, is serviceable off the bench. Malik Beasley had a really, really bad shooting night. I think he bounces back tonight. He didn't shoot the ball well at all, which makes sense, get some regression for him as well, because I think he had 8 threes in the last game. Had 10 rebounds too. So, just playing, out of his head. But yeah, the Jazz have definitely come back down to earth just a tad bit. But if you guys have plays that y'all like I said, the only thing I'm official on so far is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, his over 11.5 rebounds plus assists. Waiting on injury news in that first game before I make a play specifically for Van Fleet injury news. I might get there with my Lakers, man. But like I said, I typically don't like playing the team that just won in these back-to-back spots. But LeBron did say he strongly thinks that he probably is going to play, being that he's taken the last 2 weeks off with that abductor injury that he was dealing with and kind of rehabbing that. Says he feels good. So I think he should be able to play. And the Lakers should be, trying to stack wins, right? Especially against these easier, these easier teams. You kind of got to win. The Lakers got they got Indiana on deck. And that's not necessarily going to be a game that's going to be easy. Indiana just beat Brooklyn last night. We see what Tyrese Halliburton's doing out there, Ben Mathurin and the boys. And that's going to be a game that, Patrick Beverley, that's going to be his third game that he's going to be suspended for as well. Then they got Portland and they got Milwaukee. So you kind of got it. This is almost like a must-win game for the Lakers. They still don't have a great record. They're only 6-11 against the spread as well. To me, that's the only way I'll be able to look as Lakers, man, because Indiana won't be an easy win. Portland definitely won't be an easy win, especially revenge game for Portland because we beat them already. And you got Milwaukee. You go to Milwaukee. So the Lakers are actually going to be on a little East Coast trip. I'm pretty sure it won't just be a one and done out in Milwaukee. So I think the Lakers win the game, man. I think they cover that small spread too, but I haven't placed that. But I'll probably be looking towards that. And if I do place it, I'll probably end up tweeting it out as well. Yeah. Send me your request, man. Anybody got any plays they want to share? send me a request on Twitter. Put them in the YouTube comment section. And like I always say, man, hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the videos if you guys haven't. If you're watching on YouTube, all this content is always free. I just love enjoying being able to break these games down and share. Hopefully it helps you guys to, be profitable and to win some money as well, man. So send me your request if you got some. Get you guys up real quick before we get up out of here. Let's see. I see my guy Vaughn. Let me get Vaughn up. Yeah, let me get Vaughn up real quick. Vaughn, can you hear me, bro? If so, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man, I'm good, bro. Last night was a little crazy. I think they had like 30 games start at 8:10.
Right.
I was struggling to figure out what to watch. So I'm with you so far, man, on a couple of these, man. Got a strong lean to the under in this Houston and OKC game. Total just feel a little bit too high, especially with both of these teams playing last night. I like the Lakers tonight. I feel like they covered their spread. But it's hard to get on anything else in that game. And I say that because it's hard to get behind the first quarter because I feel like last two times these teams have played, the Lakers have dominated the game pretty much. So it's hard to get behind first quarter because I can feel the Spurs wanting to come out at least somewhat motivated early. So first quarter and first half is a bit of a challenge for me. Like I said, just feel like they come out at least somewhat motivated in those spots. I do like the Lakers at the 3.5. I think I'm going to end up getting there with that. But I feel the same way with AD points as well. I feel like I might have missed it. Like these last 4 or 5 games, I think AD been getting 25 and 15 almost every game.
Yes, sir.
I ain't played them once.
Me either, man.
But I feel like if I play it, tonight is the night that, he just don't go off.
Yeah, you don't want to catch the falling knife. Yeah, you don't want to be late to the party.
It's the same way you say it all the time, bro. I feel like I might have missed the Lakers on the first quarter, first half. I might have just missed this one. So I think I might just get there with the 3.5. I think I'm gonna end up on Vassell or Keldon Johnson points or threes. The volume is there these last couple games. They just been missing. And I just don't see them continuing to miss that much. Also, I'm going to end up getting behind Jordan Clarkson or Colin Sexton assists. Clarkson had 10 assists last night, and the night before that, Colin Sexton had 10. Both of that, I think Clarkson's line right now is at 5.5. I think I'm going to end up playing one of their lines and then just play it up to 8. I just got to figure out which one between potential assists and shit like that. What I will be going official on, though, is Jalen Green points. Last night he had 30. And the 3 games before that, he had 16, 16, and 17. But you look shot attempts since November the 13th, 20 shot attempts. November 15th, 19. November 17th, 15. Down night against Indiana with 10 attempts, but he shot 15 free throws. Against Golden State a couple nights ago, he had 15 attempts. Last night against Atlanta, he had 17 attempts. We know OKC is nothing great defensively, and so that might be a little bit more of a volume play more than anything else. But that's all I'm on so far, man. Like I said, I'll probably get there to the with that Lakers at 3.5. I'll play Sexton's assists, but I'm gonna lock in Jalen Green points at 23.5. I think it was like -112. But that's what we at so far. Not looking to play a lot tonight because it's not a lot that I love. And honestly, like if I'm looking at it the last couple nights, what I love has cashed. What I like has been iffy. And you say it all the time: play what you like, play what you love, leave what you like. It's a lot that I got a lot of looks for already tomorrow. For that Sunday slate is quite a few games. So I think I'm gonna end up just getting there with a few tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and make that Lakers at -3 official. I want to get there with that first quarter or first half too, bro. I just got to figure out where the value at is in some of these games. There's some value on the board, like we said with Utah assists and shit like that. But we got to figure out how to get there as well.
Yes, sir, Vaughn. I like the breakdowns, bro. I like the analysis as well. We got a 9-game card for tomorrow too. With some really interesting games, man. Cleveland, trying to bounce back against Detroit. It's gonna be interesting to see it. What's the status of Jared Allen. The Wizards going to Boston tomorrow. Memphis coming off that big win last night against New Orleans, going to New York, where we never trust New York as a favorite. So it's going to be interesting to see, how many points they're catching at the crib. Right now, it looks like it's open at 1.5. So, that could be a nice little Memphis spot for sure. Or we see if the Knicks come back out with something. And then Philly plays Orlando, and Dallas has to travel from Toronto to Milwaukee. So I think it'll be a third game in 4 nights for them as well, back to back, of course. And Milwaukee at the crib, just kind of waiting and resting for them. But the books are probably more interested in seeing what Dallas does today before they set a line for the Milwaukee game tomorrow, of course. So, I always say, try to look out for these early lines for sure as well, where you can get hopefully you can get the value. What's up, Vaughn?
Hey, one thing I'm not doing, I'm not getting in front of that Boston train.
That's a fact.
That shit is moving fast.
That's a fact.
I want no parts. Give me Boston in the over and I'm rolling. That shit might be an auto bet right now.
Yeah, bro. It's so funny, man. I was actually talking to somebody about that last night, bro. Cause you know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna post this tweet real quick so you guys can see it. I saw this last night. I follow these guys who cover Boston pretty extensively. And I thought this tweet was interesting. I'm gonna post this up top so you guys can see it. Let me see. Yeah, so Sean Grande is the guy. And you guys see the tweet that I posted. He talked about, and I know this is a totally side topic, but he talked about the Celtics started the game 38-22. They jumped on the Kings early, and then the Kings outscored them 62-40 to take a 6-point lead with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Over the last 9 minutes of the game, Boston went on a 37-6 run, and the Celtics, who trailed in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter, was winning the game by 25 points with 4 minutes left. Yeah, like you said, Vaughn, you either on them, bro, or you just get out the way because they'll embarrass you, hurt your feelings real bad, bro. And it's crazy.
New Orleans did me dirty last night. I didn't play it, but they didn't come out motivated. I ain't gonna talk about New Orleans, bro. Fat and lazy spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Anybody else got any requests? Anybody? I know it's a smaller space today. It's like 115 people. I see like 50 people on YouTube as well. If anybody else got anything, let me see. Bookie said Dallas has not been great ATS, but the Dallas looks like an awful matchup for Toronto on paper in my eyes. Dallas locks up 3, and without Fred VanVleet, they rely on OG and Trent to drill threes, and Toronto gets torched at the 3 and can be very dangerous versus Dallas. That's the only way I would look at Dallas in this game if Fred VanVleet doesn't play. They need a win. Toronto needs a win as well, but they're a lot more injured. So I would agree with that look. I would definitely agree with that look as well. Just kind of waiting on the Fred VanVleet news. Fremont said I was on Grind City, can't fade them at the crib. Fremont, we talked about that. We talked about that the other day. I remember you coming in here. You said, yo, when the last time Memphis lost at home? And I was on Sacramento that game. But I'm not looking to fade the Grizzlies at the crib. Not too often. That's why I kind of stayed away from that game last night. Stayed away from that one for sure, Fremont. I'm glad you cashed on that one yesterday, bro. Let me get my guy Jeff up. Jeff has some interesting things I know he wants to share. And then Butter, I'm gonna get you up as well. If anybody else got requests, y'all send them to me. I'm gonna probably shut this down if I don't have any more requests in the next probably 10 to 15 minutes. Jeff, what's going on, my brother? How you doing today?
Good, man. I didn't look too hard at the NBA card. I was just gonna throw one thing out there. You said that Boston thing about them going down early. Dude, that was how Cleveland looked last night. I actually said it early to somebody else that I was thinking Milwaukee yesterday with an injured Cleveland team, and Cleveland made me eat my words until halftime.
Yeah.
And then I literally turned the game off for a minute, and I turned it back on the radio, and I heard, oh, that could be the end of the night for Antetokounmpo. In my head, I'm thinking he got hurt. I come to find out they're up 17 points in the fourth quarter and don't need him anymore.
Yeah, Jeff. I think first of all, shout out to Coach Mike Budenhauser. His ability to be able to make in-game adjustments, and they've ramped up the defense. I think they won the third quarter 35-10. And it was like the blink of an eye. I watched that game until halftime, And then by the time I turned it back on, they had a 10-point lead. Cleveland had like a 10 or 11-point lead at halftime. I turned it back on. I see a 10 or 11-point lead. Now, I'm not really looking straight at the score. And I'm like, oh, they're still winning by 10 or 11, 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And I'm like, whoa, no, it flipped. Like, it totally flipped the opposite way. And I think, some of that, of course, has to do with Coach Budenhauser, but a lot of that is, where they kind of hang their hats. And that's on the defensive end. Jared Allen being hurt and not coming back in that game, I think that was a significant injury yesterday, Jeff. And I talked about, I love this Cleveland team. I wanted to get behind Cleveland yesterday. The only reason I couldn't was because I felt like they missed too much of their offense, not having Karis LeVert, not having Kevin Love in that one. But they almost made me eat my words. I wasn't going against them, of course, but I did like the spot for them yesterday. I like the spot a lot for them. But the other thing was, I talked about it. I'm not willing to fade the Bucks off a home loss, right? That's not something that I'm looking forward to. If the Bucks had won the game before, maybe that would have, and we got Kevin Love and Karis LeVert in, I probably would have been more inclined to, to take the points with the Cavs in that one. But yeah, when the Bucks turn up, man, it can get really, really bad for sure.
Yeah, I'll throw one out there for you guys since you're listening to me talk for a minute. I'll give you a play. I caught the end of it. I wasn't here at the beginning, so I didn't exactly hear everything. But I heard somebody mention the Lakers. I like that first half Lakers look a lot. I mean, Lakers are 11-3. I sent this to you earlier, Chris, but Lakers are 11-3 ATS in their last 14 in the first half. And San Antonio has lost 7 in a row, straight up and ATS in the first half. So I like a point and a half, and I've heard you say it a couple of times in the last couple of days how bad the San Antonio offense looks. And a point and a half, I think that the Lakers can overcome. Well, I gave it up this morning actually at a point and a half. I don't know if it's still there, but I mean, I would probably take that up to 2.5.
Yeah, I like that, Jeff. I like that a lot, man. Like I said, the only thing that scares me, Jeff, and that's something that I haven't ran the SDQL, but just looking at the Spurs this year, it feels like to me they've played a lot of their opponents that they played already in this, I think, like 17-game sample. They have already played a bunch of their opponents twice already, Jeff. So I'm interested to see. Like, I know early, they were catching these teams, and I know that they got Minnesota outright. And smashed Minnesota. Then Minnesota came back and, got them back as well. So I'm just interested. I will have to run that, look at that query specifically. But like you said, from a talent perspective, the Lakers are, by far the more talented team. The Lakers would have to come out and be extremely unmotivated in this spot to lose the first quarter or first half or full game. I believe, Jeff.
What are you looking for playing a team twice? They played Minnesota 3 times. I got that thing that I sent you earlier. They played Minnesota 3 times. They played Denver twice. So we had actually they got worse against Minnesota the second time. First quarter they covered and won. First half they covered and won. And the first game they covered and won against Minnesota, and they lost across the board in the second game. So they actually got worse in their second game against Minnesota. And Denver, they were able to cover this spread the second time in first quarter, first half, and first game, but they never won it straight up. So they did improve the second. San Antonio improved the second time playing Denver, but they downgraded the second time playing Minnesota. But the second game against Denver was at home when the first one was away. The Minnesota series was back-to-back away games. So it does say something about coming back home, I guess, too.
Yeah. And most of the time it takes a while to kind of get settled in, in your first game at home. You typically want to fade that team if, especially if you like the other team. That's an angle. But their first game back home, came against the Pelicans, and they got smacked up in that game. Then the second game, of course, the Lakers, they get smacked up in that game as well. I do think that, when they're not at full strength too, I know that not something that a lot of people probably take into their handicap, especially when you're looking at the Spurs. You're just like, I'm going to fade them. But they are like a extremely, thin team as well. Like they just don't have a lot of big bodies when you think about Zach Collins and Jakob Poeltl. And today, let's see, because I know everybody didn't play in that game. So Josh Richardson is actually listed as questionable. He's a big impact for them.
Yeah.
Doug McDermott as well, right? So, I'm trying to talk myself into, not just laying the points with the Lakers and, how things could be different today. That is the offense that they were missing. They didn't get to 100 points yesterday, without Josh Richardson. I think Doug McDermott didn't play in that game either. I talked about Keldon Johnson and, and Kevin, Keldon Johnson only combining for, I think 1 for 14 from the 3-point line.
Yeah, I mean, Lakers put up 59 points in the first half. Yesterday.
Yeah,
59 points in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
They only put up 46 in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So, well over half of their production came in the first 2 quarters. So,
trying to set that tone early. Yeah, Jeff. No, you're right. You're definitely right about that. I like your look a lot, man. I definitely like that look a lot. And as long as the Lakers are motivated in this spot, man, it should definitely be a play that cashes. Definitely should be a play that cashes. But I'm trying to get you connected, bro. I think I'm not sure why it's not letting you connect. Maybe if you drop back down, I'll try to bring you back up again. Let's see. Anybody else got anything? Yo, buddy, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, you good? What's going on with you? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm just coolin'. So what you think about that Dallas and who they playing today?
Dallas is they playing the Raptors. So I broke that game down first. The biggest thought for me, not going back too much into it, is just that I can't bet the game without Fred not knowing Fred VanVleet's status, because he has such a tremendous impact on the offensive end, especially when you're already without Scotty Barnes, who's been ruled out, when you're already without Siakam, who we know hasn't played in the last few weeks. So without him, I just don't see a way Toronto is able to score enough points, especially a Dallas team that should be motivated after giving up 125 points against the Boston Celtics the other day. And I think that, Dallas, they found something, because they was getting smacked up by Boston the other day too. They actually won the third quarter, and I don't know if it was the third and fourth quarter, but I know that they won. They closed that game well. I watched the press conference with Coach Kidd talking about them kind of finding something. So yeah, they did win. They won the third quarter and the fourth quarter. They won the third quarter 36-31 and 27-24. So I think that they could kind of bring that momentum into Toronto. Toronto's a tough place to play at, though. No matter what, they're scrappy. I don't like betting against Toronto, specifically in Toronto. But right now, they're literally like the walking wounded. They don't have a lot of bodies. So eventually it comes down to what you have, and you can only do so much with what you have. So that's my kind of general thoughts about that game.
All right, good. Because right now I got 2 bets in for the Mavs. I got Mavs money line. I'm going straights. I put the Mavs money line, and then I did the Mavs first quarter and match winner. That's plus 165. I feel like they're going to come out the gate, probably punch Toronto in the face. And, like you said, they ain't got that many people that's playing right now. So I feel like Luka going to do his thing. I might go on Luka points, too. And his double-doubles was so close. So, I think he got a double-double, 2 games ago? So, but the last game and the game before that, it been, 39 and 8. So, it's been real close to triple and all that. So, I'm going to hit the double-double, see if that happened. And then it's looking like a Luka and Mavs nights for me. And I'm going to go with that Shea 11.5. I'm going to tell you on that.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I like Luka. I talked about the, not the double-double, but I talked about his rebounds at 8.5. I do think it's a game where he could get 10 rebounds, especially if you don't see Fred VanVleet in the game. Dallas is going to hang their hat on the defensive end against a team that, is going to be scrappy. I would look towards the under if Fred VanVleet doesn't play also. And I think that, Luka, I talked about it earlier, his rebounds at 8.5. You could just take it at 10 so you don't have to, drink the juice. I do think it's a 10 rebound game for Luka, averaging 15 rebound chances over the last 5 games, leading the team in rebounding. Christian Wood could be, upgraded to this starting lineup. I've been reading a lot of things from the Dallas beat reporters about, potentially injecting him into their starting lineup. I don't know what it means for the bench, of course, but they do get Maxi Kleber back. So all of that, is going to be super interesting. I couldn't talk you off the Luka double-double because, like I said, if I'm going to play his rebounds at over 9, then I hope he definitely gets 10. And, he definitely should get the double-double. So I like that look a lot.
It's plus 156. I'm going to just do a little sprinkle on it.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot, bro. I like it a lot. Patrick in the comment section said, And Darius, I'm gonna come to you real quick. But Patrick in the comment section said Dallas minus 2.5 with everybody out in Toronto. Why is it so low? Is it a trap? I think, Patrick, that is if Fred VanVleet gets ruled in, then this line probably goes up just a tad bit. I think they'll start catching some more points. This will come back down. I think Fred VanVleet influences that line at least a point in my estimation. Because a lot of the guys on Toronto, they struggle offensively. They these guys are not great offensive players. They hang their hat on the defensive end. That's what Nick Nurse kind of preaches. And when you take out Scotty Barnes, a playmaker, somebody that can create his own shot, somebody that can get others involved as well, and you don't have Siak, not only just Siakam, but Fred VanVleet, then you're looking for potentially a fourth guy to kind of initiate the offense. So it would only be a Dallas spot, especially coming off the loss. Like I said, they found something in the third quarter, but I'm not playing it until we get the news on Fred VanVleet. Patrick said SGA points been a system play. I talked about I'm on SGA, his rebounds plus assists at 11.5. You guys go back to the beginning when I break that game down. I gave out the analysis around that. That's the only play that I put in so far today. SGA over 11.5 points and assists. Josh Richardson just got ruled out, so we're probably gonna get other news as well. The Spurs not trying to win. Josh Richardson ruled out. I'm pretty sure we'll get the news on Doug McDermott here soon, because typically all of it comes at the same time. Bates DL ruled out. Yeah, this spread probably about to move now. So if you want the Lakers, you probably should have jumped on it already. They still got Keldon Johnson. But Popovich is sporadic, man. He'll rest everybody, and they'll have a whole G League team out there, even with most of the guys on the team being G League now. So yeah, man. If you want the Lakers, probably hop on them, ASAP before this spread starts to move a little bit, because they're a team full of just a bunch of guys who kind of contribute just a tad bit. Doug McDermott not on the injury report, so it looks like he is going to play today. But yeah, that's kind of what I got for you guys. Other thing I mentioned, and I haven't put this in yet, but that under in the Rockets in the OKC game, I'm probably going to jump on that as well. I do think it's a Rocket spot coming off, OKC coming off the overtime win, having to travel to Houston. But I low key do not want to, I like, that I'm able to catch the points with Houston. Houston functions better as a dog. I'm never looking to back OKC as a favorite. They won last night and they were a dog to the Bulls. So yeah, I'll probably end up playing Houston. Might play the under. I got to figure out what I want to do with that game. But yeah, that's my thoughts for today, man. Darius, let me come to you real quick before we wrap it up. What's going on with you, my guy? How you doing?
What's up, Chris? So the Mavs is at -2.5 right on the spread.
Yes, sir.
So, and we know like the Raptors, they play hard. They're gonna always fight, but we know they shorthanded, right? So, and the Mavs, they play a little slow. So I was looking at under in the Raptors team total under 106 if Fred's not playing. I didn't lock it in yet, but I was just looking. I want to see you, like what you think about that. Like, I don't know. I like the play, but I don't know yet.
Yeah, no, I think it's a low scoring game for sure. Matter of fact, let me see if I can run that query real quick. Raptors and it's probably not going to be 100% accurate just because the games that Fred VanVleet didn't play in, I'm pretty sure Siakam probably played in. So let me see if I can find a game real quick where Siakam didn't play and Fred VanVleet didn't play. But even then, Scotty Barnes, probably would have played. But let me see. So let's just I'm gonna take out Fred VanVleet. He spells his name with a capital. Fred VanVleet. And let's see, not in player list name, and Pascal Siakam, not in player list name. Let's see what we get. So since 2000 and hold on, let me make sure I spelled this right. Injury report. What did I do wrong? Let's see. Raptors. So it looks like I'm gonna go back to last year, so we can have like a 2-year sample size. Toronto. Let's see. Raptors, Detroit. Oh, that was the game Fred VanVleet didn't play. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Let's see. So Fred VanVleet actually done missed a lot of games. Let's see. So let's see. All right. So 2021 season, Team Eagles Raptors and Fred VanVleet not in the player list name, and Pascal Siakam not in player list name. I got an invalid query, which not in. Oh, okay. I see what I did. Hold on. So games without both of them. Oh man, you might be on something. So it looks like it's been 5 games since the start of last season that haven't had Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam in for Toronto, and they're 1-4 in those games straight up. They're 0-4-1 in those games ATS, so they haven't covered a spread. They're 2-3 to the under, and they're only averaging 102 points in those games. And we've had 3 of those games happen this year. So against the Pacers, against the Pacers on the 12th, so 2 weeks ago, against the Pistons 2 weeks ago, they did score 111 points in that game. Against the Pacers, they scored 104 points. And this year against the Nets, they scored 98 points. So in the 3 games this year, they have not gone over that total. You said 106, right?
Yeah, 106 and a half.
Yeah, the only thing with that though, Darius, is that if Siakam plays, not Siakam. If Fred VanVleet plays, then of course you're probably out back. You know what I mean? But they are 0-4-1 to the under. I'm sorry, 4-0-1 to the under in this spot. So could definitely see it. I could definitely see it. And it's really hard for them to get over that point total. I mean, they did it against the Pistons, but that's just the Pistons. Right. They don't play any defense. And then you think about, Scotty Barnes not being in either. That's a real strong play towards the under, the full game under. But like I said, I'm gonna wait until till we get the official news in that one, to see if he actually is gonna be in or not. Okay. Yeah. Best of luck to you, my guy. I hope you cash it, man.
I appreciate you too, Chris.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And that, like I said, that's all I got for you guys. Our show, 4 games. Lot more than just me talking. But if you jumped in late and you want to hear the analysis of the games, definitely go back. Retweet the show for me if you guys can. Like the show as well. Leave me a thumbs up on Twitter. And tomorrow we will be back. 9-game slate. Let me see what times the game actually start. Tomorrow we got games starting. I never plan the weekend. I'm always playing for the week. I never plan the weekend. Tomorrow games actually start at 3. So I'll probably do a show at noon Eastern time. So 3:00 Eastern time is when it start. Probably noon Eastern time is when I'll do a show, because we got 2 games to start before 3:30. Golden State going to Memphis. That's gonna be a good. Going to Minnesota. That's gonna be a good one. Woo! I'm actually looking forward to that. Golden State hasn't covered a spread on the road all year. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Also only got 1 road win, and Minnesota coming off a loss might have been looking ahead to this Golden State team. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys, man. Strongest looks on the day. Like I said, I play SGA points and rebounds and assists over 11.5. 1 unit play for me. Couldn't talk anybody off. Giddy as well. His assist is 6.5. Really like the under in that game. Didn't play that yet. Really like the Lakers. Didn't play them yet. And also really like Houston plus the 2, man. Those are the strongest looks for me today. Only thing I'm official on is SGA over. Best of luck to you guys. Let's keep it going, because we have been cashing. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Best of luck on all your action today.